The robber is assembling the pistol in front of the girl. He inserts the spring sleeve onto the barrel, then attach the barrel to the body of the gun. The girl watches him carefully. The robbers got excited. He finishes assembling and aims at the girl. The girl does not cry. The robber walks up to the girl, puts the gun to the girl's neck. He tears open the girl's button and looks at the girl's figure. Then he put the gun in his belt. Goes to get something happily, but he hasn't noticed. There is an unassembled gun on the table. The man takes his shirt off, grabs a blanket from the inner room. After he came in, the girl is still sitting where she was. The robber spreads the blanket on the floor. He wants to do something naughty with the girl. Then the robber suddenly noticed gun parts are missing from the table. The man's mouth twitches. He thinks that something is wrong, but I was only out for, like, 10 seconds. How does a little girl know how to assemble a gun? The robber tries to rape the girl. He rips off the girl's clothes. He was assembling a pistol in front of the girl. And then the robber went out to get a blanket. He comes back in and finds that the girl has taken a gun pointing to him. The next second, the girl fired, and the robber died instantly. The people in the house heard noises. Come in with a gun. The girl calmly fired, like a professional killer. All three of them were knocked down. The girl calmly walks out, and she doesn't forget to fire extra shots. She shoots the dead body again. Just to make sure, the girl looks at herself in the mirror. She begins to cut her hair off, avenged her family. It's like saying goodbye to her old self. So, it was an hour ago. This gang of robbers held her entire family hostage. 2 men held her mom down, and they cut her without hesitation. Her 2 older sisters cried and screamed so hard. Only the girl didn't make a sound at all. The dad spit on the robbers. The robber said nothing. Just shot her sisters and dad. The girl watched her whole family get killed. The girl's entire family was shot dead. She was watching, silently, without making a sound, and not even a single teardrop. The robber noticed that the girl was pretty. So, they wanted to take advantage of her. And so that was what happened. After the girl had her hair cut, she heard a noise and hid. Nick the killer came through here. He saw the money on the table. So, he took the money and got ready to run. Suddenly he heard a voice from the cabinet. Nick raised his gun and went toward the locker, only to see the girl shaking and pointing the gun at him. But the barrel is exposed, and there are no more bullets left. Nick put both his hands in the air to surrender. He said he meant no harm. The girl put the gun down. Nick adopted the girl and named her Q. When they were leaving Vietnam, they were stopped by guards. The soldiers took the bribe money but wouldn't let the girl leave. He would only let Nick go alone. Nick pretended to walk away. After a few steps, suddenly he turned around and shot the guard dead, and he took Q away. 30 years later, under the training of Nick, Q has become a top killer. She kidnapped the mafia boss's son and demanded a ransom of 3 million euros. The mafia boss's men pulled Q out of the car and searched her. All they found was a phone. Q is brought to the mafia boss. The mafia boss punched Q in the stomach. "How dare you kidnap my child?" Q pretended to be weak. She caught him off guard and flashed the dagger from the phone, and she stabbed the mafia boss in the neck. Then she stabbed one of his henchmen, kicked the other one over, got on top of him, broke his neck. Then she just waltzed out the door. The bodyguard at the door didn't know what's going on yet. When they came after Q didn't panic at all. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. All 3 bodyguards from behind were killed. Q and Nick make a good team. They have completed the assassination of the mafia boss and made an easy 7 million euros. When Q isn't a killer, she runs a bookstore. She hangs with the cats and make cakes when she's not busy. For Nick's 70th birthday, Q gave him a limited edition guitar. Nick was like a father to her. That's when Q got the assignment. She just needs to find one person. Q asked her hacker friend to help with the track down. In 2 days, hacker found the information and handed her a flash drive. Just as Q was about to break the news to Nick, the girl came home to find the nanny dead. Q keeps going inside. She found the guitar she gave him was smashed to pieces. Q takes the gun and goes to the bedroom. It's a mess inside. Q can already see what has happened. She found Nick in the bathtub. His body was beyond recognition. Q spotted the drone. It's got a flash drive that Nick always carries. Q has a bad feeling and runs. Just as she was about to leave, she saw a car parked outside the door. 0.01 seconds later, shots were fired. The bookstore instantly becomes a dump. Debris flew all over the place. Q crawled over and kicked over the table to hide. 2 killers stopped shooting and walked in. They see Q's beautiful white long legs showing. 1 killer stepped in to check, and he just dropped dead without the other one realizing. The other killer tried to run. Q showed up on the backseat and finished him off. No wonder she's a top killer. She does everything nice and clean. Q checks the files the hacker left her. The other person is loaded, and he died in a car accident back in 1991. Q returned to Vietnam to pursue more leads. The biker gang is racing. More than 30 bikes altogether are very imposing. Suddenly a bike came from the opposite side, driving towards them directly. And it didn't duck at all. The bikers get out of the way. The other bike sped away and left. The boss of the gang takes off his sunglasses. Shoot, who is this person? He took his gang and goes after this person. They found the owner of the bike at a roadside shop. Who else would it be other than Q? The gang is going to teach her a lesson, but the boss stops them. Turns out the boss is a friend of Nick's. He knows Q, too. Q told him about Nick's death. The boss took a sip of wine to calm down. Q says she need to find someone named Sheldon. He had specific information about the rich guy. The boss told her. Sheldon takes a team of bodyguards with him every time he goes out. And he likes cigars. Q had prepared a box of cigars for Sheldon, in exchange for a chance to meet. After security check, Q finally saw Sheldon. There's a private lawyer of Sheldon presented. Sheldon says he used to mine aluminum with the rich guy. Then he heard the news of rich guy's accident. The girl negotiates with the gang. Who would have thought? Sheldon got killed by his lawyer. Q was startled. I have witnessed a show of people usurp the throne. The bodyguards heard the voices and came in. The lawyer asked Q what she wants. Q glanced at the bodyguard. Then she took the dagger from the cigar box and stabbed the lawyer. Then Q picked up the pistol on the floor and took out the bodyguard with 2 shots. Then she escaped through the air duct. The rest of the bodyguards were about to chase her. Then there were shots fired from above. They kept shooting at the air ducts. Q hides behind the pillar, and she got an idea after seeing the water spray valve in front of her. She took the risk of walking through the pipes. The guys down are still shooting. Q turns on the spray valve, so no one can hear her moving. Then she escapes to the switching room, but bodyguards caught up with her. Right when the bodyguard walked through the door, Q unplugged a wire and put it in the water. The bodyguards were instantly turned into barbecue. Q run out, grabbed the fire hose. Then she jumped from the 5th floor and landed safely. Just as she was getting out, she got hit by a car. She was so close to getting away from the lawyer. The girl was awakened by a bucket of water. She was tied to an iron bed. They covered Q's face with a black cloth. They keep pouring water down. Even though people don't get hurt by this waterboarding, but the feeling of suffocating and drowning is terrible. Q had enough of the waterboarding, but still didn't say anything about Nick, so they went with something else. They tried to strangle Q. Q's extremely long legs steps on the head of the bed next to her. The men just pushed her away, leaving Q 0 chances. Suddenly Q clamped the man's head, hit him against the wall. Q steps on the men and kicked down the other 2. Then she cut the rope with some metal plate, picks up a plate on the floor and hit them on the heads. Then Q pulled down the rope and tied the bald guy up. For him to feel what it's like to be strangled, Q kicks bald guy away and smashed the sink. The lawyer's men saw a figure outside the door. He pulls out his pistol approaching but got shot. The lawyer just closed the cupboard, and he saw Q behind him. Q holds his head in the water. An eye for an eye. When the lawyer's guys got here, the lawyer had been hanged. Having done all this, Q walks out the door, only to be hit by a killer. Just as the killer went to make sure Q is dead, someone showed up just in time to save Q, and that man is Nick. Turns out he wasn't dead. Nick covered Q's wound for her, and told her that he found the robbers when they came through the door. After he had managed to take them out, he disfigured the robber's face, put his clothes on one of the robbers, and makes it look like he's the one dead. After an investigation by Nick, they learned that the rich guy isn't dead, and he is going to host a big dinner party. This is a difficult assassination. The dinner party is held on an island, and the target is protected by a dedicated team. All guests at the banquet have to go through security check. There are also drones patrolling up in the sky. Even the waiters wear tracking bracelets. Rich guy sent professional agents to secure the scene, but at this point, Q has cut her hair, dressed up as a waitress to get into the party. The rich guy entered to a round of applause. He made a speech. Agents are watching the event in real time. Right before Q pulled the trigger, the agent tackled her. It was a completely chaos. Q also took the opportunity to escape. The agent followed Q's blood trail all the way, and then he took a shot at Q. At the same time, the rich guy fled to a safe house. Turns on the security footage, trying to figure who tried to kill him. The agent chased that person to the forest. A figure flashed by. The agent then fired several shots. The rich man was shocked while watching this scene. It turned out that Nick behind him fired shots. The rich guy asked Nick how he got in. That's easy enough. Drones are so practical. They got a peek at the rich guy's house password. The rich guy recognized Nick. He actually hired Nick to kill himself back then, so he can take this opportunity to fake his own death. Everyone thought the rich guy is a famous philanthropist. Little did they know that he was doing all the evil things behind closed doors. All the people Nick killed over the years. They're all really bad people. Only the rich guy got away, and the rich guy threatened Nick. "You're never leaving this place alive." Nick laughed. He pulled a bomb out of his bag. "I never intended to leave alive." The agents on the outside finally caught up with Q. But how would they know this was a trap? Suddenly there was a huge explosion behind. Rich guy died on the spot. During the explosion, Q got back to her childhood house. The agent followed her here too. They both raised their guns at the same time. Gunshots were fired. A figure appeared at the window, and it was Q who opened the door. Once again, she escaped death. The end. This movie is called The Protégé. I recommend you to see the original film. Remember to like the video and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.